Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. I'm Chase, here with Christian, going in for round 8 Monster Energy Supercross in Hot Atlanta.
Let's get it going.
We got a lot to talk about this week, and we're going to kick it off with our race recap and our fantasy stats. Well, I think it's safe to say the dust, I feel like, has settled a little bit. This last week, our top 5, really just 5 solid picks.
Yeah, between 4 that qualified in the top 5, took top 5, all big names, so it's big points for everybody.
Big points, yeah. No big surprises. I would have to say the big story
It's Dungey.
Dunge.
Yeah.
The Dunge was in second, but got left behind by Tomac, and then Muskin caught him like halfway through the race and gapped him.
Yeah,
Dungey
easily.
fell way off the pace.
In his hometown.
Ew, that hurts.
I mean, I don't know.
We'll talk about it more, because we got some questions to ask when it comes to Dungey, because we want to know what people are thinking. Because we'll tell you too, people are losing faith in Dungey.
Big time stats to back that up.
All right, so, well, speaking of stats, give us some.
All right, well, last week, the average score was way up throughout the season of 41 points.
Ooh.
We had the most perfect scores, I think, ever, was 55 people, which don't get thrown off. That's still not even 1/10% of the picks.
0.09%.
So you see it, and it looks like a lot, but it's really not when you look at the grand scheme. So only 5% got the wild card. I think that avoided a lot of perfect scores last week, too. So a lot of people had Millsaps. I was one off with him, too. But 36% had 2 picks at least right. But the whole crazy deal with that is only 23% still had the top 5 in there. So they must be going for some long shots type of deals.
Okay, taking some risks a little bit later.
Yep. And then it did bite a big name rider, Webb.
I'm
Hurting
very upset
for him.
about
Yeah,
that.
that sucks. We want to see him bust in there again. But
yeah, if you guys do not know, Webb is out this week, but should be back the following week. So don't put Webb in your picks. And as far as other injured riders, so Webb's out, Pike still gone, Brayton.
we don't know. Watch for him.
No Bubba. I haven't heard any word on Justin Bogle yet.
I haven't either. He's been banged up the last 2 weeks. I don't
He's
know.
had a rough go at it.
And Grant missed the last 2 weeks. Might be back this week. So
We will find out. So make sure, guys, check to see who's going to be showing up at starting if you want to put some of those riders in maybe your wild card position. Next up, let's talk about some track trends. So going into Atlanta, we've got a lot to talk about when it comes to the track. Last week was pretty predictable as far as top 5.
Yeah.
Atlanta usually shakes things up kind of like we saw in Phoenix.
it did last year.
It did. So what we need to talk about, first and foremost, last year the top 5 riders they finished better at Atlanta than they did for their average finish all year.
So it could be upsets.
Could
Watch
be
out for it.
upsets, yes. And Chad Reed was 3rd last year. Davey Millsaps was 4th, so that just kind of gives you an idea of riders doing well. Last race in the Georgia Dome. Farewell, Georgia.
Yep. It's
All
a
right.
Nice place.
And shortest start since 2013. Now
In that stadium.
In that stadium. So with short starts, you got to keep in mind. It makes me a little nervous for the Tomac train because he's been good off the long starts.
Yeah, there's riders who like a long start, riders who
He's
don't.
been killing it.
So,
Dungey's been really good at short starts.
best average start on the year. So
Keep that in
this
mind.
might be his race.
I know the Tomac train is rolling, but Dungey, those short starts could be looking favorable for the Dunge. We'll find out. And then we've got possibly some history going on this weekend.
Yeah, with the Dungey camp. He has a chance this year to tie McGrath and Carmichael with the most Atlanta wins, the 450 class. And he could be the 4th rider to ever win 3 consecutive 450 races in Atlanta. So
All right.
pretty cool. Some extra motivation for him. We'll see what he does.
He needs a bounce back week after last week.
For a normal rider, no. For Dungey, yeah. We
right.
need to see something more. So
3rd is unacceptable.
it's weird to see.
Roger DeCoster is not happy.
Yep.
All right. So
all
next
right.
up, what
Let's
we
get
got?
into the points battle.
Let's do it. All right. So going into this weekend, we don't really need to talk about Tomac much because the train is moving and he ain't slowing down.
I finally bought a ticket to it.
You bought a ticket to my train?
I mean, that was impressive. You take out Arlington, he's won 3 races in a row. So I'm not even worried about
the
him anymore.
gas. Now, Muskin is going to be probably in just about everybody's top 3. He won, then he went 2nd last week. The big question is, what do you do with Dunge?
I have him in 3rd at best. I mean, Tomac's always ahead of him.
Yeah.
Muskin's caught and passed him. When I'm making my picks, I like to think of them next to each other, and when they come together, who passes who.
So you've got him in 3rd. I've got him off the box this weekend.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I don't know if he's guarding that lead or what's the deal. It's starting to get almost to the point eerily close to the Villapoto last season. I don't know. I'm worried about it.
So you're off the Dungey train.
I am Dungey jumping off the Dungey train. He's third place at best in my picks.
Did you just say Dungy jumping?
Dungy jumping away from him right now and jumping on the Tomac train.
Hashtag that. You are Dungy jumping.
Dungy jumping if you're taking him out of your top spot, which a lot of people are doing. He's went from 90% picked for first in round 1 down to 40% last week, and it continues to drop. So everybody's losing faith. I mean, he's not having a horrible season, but in fantasy, he's not safe for 1 or 2, I don't think.
Okay. Now, a couple other riders that we got to talk about. We talk about these 2 every week, but Cole Seeley. Last week, the whole shot, it went down the second turn.
7th rider to get the whole shot this year.
And I predict Seeley is going to be the next one to win a race. Out of the other guys that have already won, taking Roxon out because he's hurt, yeah. I predict Seeley will be the next one to win a race. And he's good on starts. That could have been it. He's good on starts. Absolutely, it's free point Seeley. We're sticking him in the top 5.
No doubt.
And then Anderson, another one where, I mean, pretty safe bet to be in your top 5.
I mean, they've been in the top 5 way more than they haven't, or anyone behind them. So
yeah, Anderson's gone four times this year, so he's up there.
And he was the most picked rider for 4th. So
really?
You guys, you're figuring it out. We see you. We see you making those points up. So
now this week, we're at a point in the season where if you want to make up points, the top 5 guys, they're solid. Yeah. It's a safe bet, but it's a safe bet. You have to understand that at some point, just like last year, something's going to get shaken up.
Or you got to get risky. You got to gauge where you're at. Do you need to make up points? Are you playing it safe like Dungy? I mean, if you want to make up points, you got to pick less picked riders towards the end. So.
I absolutely agree. So next up, we're going to talk about our weekly spoilers riders who may have a very good chance of cracking the top 5.
All right, so getting into my spoilers, I'm thinking of guys that are really low-picked riders, but they have a chance to get in there any given week. That if you need to make up points, you need to watch these guys and practice qualifying. They could save your season. So the first one I have is Trey Kennard. He's went from 11th to 8th since he came back. He's had an average start of 9th, so he's doing good. He's up there. You know the fitness and stamina is going to get better every week.
Okay.
I'm a big Kennard fan as well.
I know.
So
you Kennardly wait for him to crack top 5,
wait for him to get up there. I mean, I love that guy. So.
Okay.
And only 3% picked him in the top 5 last week. So he's a good one to make up points if he gets on the gas this week. The other one is Davey Millsaps. His first 450 win was in Atlanta. It's his home race. He led 2 laps last week.
Got 4th last year in Atlanta.
Yeah,
okay, that's a good pick, I think.
His average finish is 7th. He's up there. And the last third amount of laps last week, he was as fast as Seeley and Anderson.
Okay.
So get the guy a good start. Another good start. Let's see him stay up there. So
all right, Kennard. That's a hard one for me. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys like Christian's picks for wild card or for spoilers? Never know. So for mine,
let's go, Trey.
I've got Chad Reed. And that dude has been all over the map.
I don't even,
dude. All I know is that the guy gets 2nd place, and then he's just 10th and worse, out all over. But he likes Atlanta. He won there 2 years ago. He got 3rd last year. I see him just having that bounce back week like he did earlier and just getting a solid placing. So Chad Reed, would not be surprised if he busted into the top 5 this week. My other is Mr. Brock Tickle Me Elmo.
He's making moves.
Yeah, he went 6, 7. He's making moves. The guy is
talking about him. He's up there.
Nobody's talking about it, but he is improving. He has the speed, so I potentially see him breaking into the top 5 this week. So those are my 2 spoilers. I got Chad Reed and Brock Tickle.
I like him.
So what's the wild card this week?
10th place.
All right. So next up, we're talking about the wild card. So for the 10th place wild card this week,
tough one.
Probably the hardest one I would say of the year because we haven't had any repeat 10th place finishers.
I don't think so, no.
So this is going to be tough. So for me, for wild card this week, 3 riders I got on the list to watch.
Let's hear them.
You can hardly wait for him to break in the top 5. I can hardly wait for him to be in 10th place.
I know. The stats tell me that too, but my heart, I can't even talk about him now.
All right. So Trey Kennard, last 2 rounds, average finish of 9.5. His starts right at 9. Mm-hmm. My other one, and I don't believe I am saying this, but Mr. Holeshot himself, Mike Alessi, last 2 rounds he's gone 13th, 10th, so he's been steady and improving too. Yeah. All right, and my other one is I have got Mr. Justin Barcia. I mean,
that was some kid he had last week.
Yeah, it was a lot of pink.
It was a lot of pink. It was eye-catching.
But so Barcia, it's his 2nd race back. He had a horrible week last week, but I know he's got the top 10 speed. I wonder if his fitness is there. That's why I think 10th place might be a good place for the old number 51 this week.
JGR needs something, so
yeah,
I'll be cheering for him too.
All right, who do you have?
The rider I have on mine is Joshua Grant. His average is around there. He's statistically there. We just got to see if he comes back.
Okay.
So another one is Baggett. He finished 9th last week. His average finish is 12th. He's kind of getting those tough breaks, but
Yeah.
And my pick for the week, Malcolm Mookie Stewart.
The Predator.
He's been right there. He finished 10th and 11th the last 2 races. So
Okay.
he's right around there, and he's starting at 10.2 this season since he's started racing. So I like Stewart. I'm going to probably lock him in there. So
Okay. Now, we want to know what your guys' picks and why you think they're going to be around the 10th place spot because, like I said, hard week. But the wild card, especially later in the season, is probably the most crucial pick you're going to get.
Oh, yeah. You got to get those.
All right. Do you know what time it is?
It's time to lock them in.
Let's lock them in.
All right, before we lock them in, we've had a lot of comments, people asking how we're doing. Not great, okay, so we're going to tell you guys where we're at. I'm sitting at 260 points. About, if I was eligible for prizes, it'd be around 15,000.
Okay. I'm at 247.
Right there.
13 points behind you.
So we're
It's
pretty
kind of
close.
interesting because you've been a stats guy for
we
the
pick
most
a
of the
lot
year. I've been
differently.
picking with this thing right here.
Yep.
My
So-
heart. My Tomac train has been helping me.
I'm finally jumping on it. I need to.
I got room in my caboose if you want to come on over.
That's one way of putting it, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, let's get into locking them in. I know we talked about, it's going to be could be an unpredictable round, an upset round since last week was so predictable, but I'm sticking with the top 5 from last week. I'm just moving them into this week, how they finished.
Same order, everything.
I bought a ticket to the Tomac train.
Okay.
I'm taking it to the promised land. So I got Tomac, Muskin second. I mean, he passed in Dungy too convincingly for me.
Okay.
Dungy safe for third. Everyone else behind there, he seems like he can get by. And then 4th Anderson, 5th Seeley, and wild card I did change it up. I'm going to take Malcolm Stewart.
The Predator. All
What do you
right.
got?
Well, I'll let you on my train. Tomac is going to win it. Now, here's a risk I'm going to take, and I want to see how many people want to join me on this journey I'm about to go on. I've got Seeley in 2nd place. He hole-shotted last week. He's good on start, short start straight, so I see Seeley doing well this week. I put him in 2nd, Muskin in 3rd, Dungy off the box.
Again,
Get him out.
he's going to play it really safe, you think?
Really, Dungy jumped, and I got a really strong cord.
Dungy jumped far away from first
Yep.
place.
And I've also got Mr. Mills snaps into a Slim Jim in 5th.
Could easily happen.
It's his race.
6th last week.
Yep. And
Hometown.
4th
Or home
last year
state.
there. And my wild card, I picked Mr. Justin Barsha with the pink gear and all.
Yeah, he's got to come back strong.
He's
we want to
got
see him
to.
at least up there around those guys. Let's see what he does.
Now, I do want to spice things up a little bit for this week, and we're going to talk about bets here. Christian, if I score better than you, you have to come in next week, and you have to have all 10 fingers Barsha out. I mean hot pink nail
We
polish.
talked about it, and
Okay?
I'm kind of worried. I feel confident.
If you score better than me, what do I have to do?
Next show, beard, mustache, half shaved off.
Two-face.
Yep.
Okay?
Just to spice it up. I mean, we got a lot of bets going in-house here. We
Yeah.
hear everything from buying lunch to 2 left shoes. So if you guys got good fantasy bets out there with your buddies, your groups, let us know. We want to see what's going on out there. Cause
Yeah, send them to them, direct message us on Instagram or post them and tag us. We want to see what you guys are wagering.
fantasy's getting real.
It's going to
It's
get
getting real now.
Yeah.
So let's see what you guys are doing out there.
All right, so next up, let's talk about some prizes. Now, as always, we've got some good weekly prizes to give away. Starting it out, Bell Moto 9 Carbon Flex.
Yes.
And we're giving away an MX versus ATV Supercross Encore game along with that. 2 sets of Pirelli MX32 tires. EVS protection package.
Stellar MX coming in with a nice casual pack and Baggett sticker sheet, TCX boots, Cherubies plastic kits, and Nixon watch, Pro Honda prize pack, ODI, and Scott rounding out the top 10. So
All right.
it's never too late to join. You can
Nope.
win those at any time. So
Anytime, if you sign up late, don't worry about it. You always have a chance to win our weekly prizes. So that is it. Round 8 for Monster Energy Supercross RMFantasySX SXperts is in the books. Get your picks in. And remember, join us. Go to RMFantasySX.com. Join our group, which is Team RMATVMC. Sign up. You can see how Christian and I are doing. You can play against our group. You can also play against Blake Baggett, Davey Millsaps, and Benny Bloss. If you guys have any thoughts, comments, questions, make sure write those below. We love to respond and see what you guys have to say. I'm Chase.
I'm Christian.
We'll see you next time.